What's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken and welcome back to another video. In this one I'll be counting down my picks for the top 5 most difficult weapons in Paladins. These weapons aren't your ordinary hit-scan rifle where you just point and shoot, but rather take timing, predictions, and distance judgment to land your shots. Mastering these weapons can be both really difficult, but super rewarding. So without further ado, let's get into the top 5 most difficult weapons in Paladins. Number 5. Makoa. Makoa's cannon takes the number 5 spot on this list because it's a somewhat slow-moving projectile that significantly arcs to the ground the farther away it goes. Hitting something up close isn't too hard, but if your target is at mid-range or far away, it takes both strong predictions of where the enemy is going to be and good distance judgment so you can know how high to aim your cannon so you can hit your shot. It takes a lot of practice to land your shots on enemies that aren't right in your face, but Makoa's weapon is still really reliable and isn't nearly as difficult as some of the others on this list. Inara's weapon is by far the trickiest weapon in the entire frontline class. Her stone spear fires a burst of 3 small projectiles that can be difficult to land on targets at medium or long range. Her weapon also slows her down by 30% when she fires, so you have to adjust your aim slightly to account for her change in speed. It can also be difficult to land 3 consecutive stones on a target without having Inara's rhythm down and having good tracking and predictions if the enemy is farther away. Inara's weapon definitely takes the most practice out of any tanks, considering you have to be comfortable with her firing pattern and be used to the movement speed change and predictions required to land your shots. But if you can get to the point where you can land Inara's shots consistently, she can put out massive amounts of damage and be competitive with the damage champions on her team. Number 3. Bomb King. Bomb King's bombs are really powerful AoE weapons that can devastate an enemy if they're anywhere near the explosion. However, it's getting the bombs near who you want to explode that can make playing Bomb King really difficult. Bomb King throws his bombs in a similar arcing fashion to Makoa's cannonballs, except they're a bit slower and don't have the exact same arc. Because of this, Bomb King either has to get really close to the enemy so he can stick his bombs super reliably, or be really good at predicting where the enemy is going to move if he's going to try and get a stick on them from farther away. However, unless you're really experienced with Bomb King or have super good aim, you're not sticking bombs on people very often, and must have good distance judgment to detonate your bombs at the right time. Bomb King's bombs require good distance judgment, strong predictions, and lots of practice to be any good with him, which is why he takes number 3 on this list. Number 2. Grover. Grover is a really fun champion and extremely underrated in my opinion, but he does come with his fair share of skill needed to be good with him. His axe is completely unlike any of the other weapons on this list, and that it's actually most effective at long range because of its damage scaling at a distance. However, it's also a relatively slow-moving projectile, so Grover requires the most movement prediction out of any champion on this list to use his weapon. If Grover wants to deal some heavy damage to a target that isn't basically standing still, he's got to get inside the mind of his enemy and throw his axe where he thinks the enemy will walk, which takes a lot of skill to pull off. Luckily, he throws his weapon hard enough that it doesn't arc, but it still takes a ton of skill to use it at its most effective range. Number 1. Mogi. I don't know why Hi-Rez ever decided making a weapon like Mogi's was a good idea. It's so ridiculous to use, because you never have to reload and can just continually spam shots into an enemy's face. It's also super difficult to land shots with her weapon, and dealing damage is super difficult with this high skill weapon. Number 1. Malduma. Malduma's Spitting Cobra is famous for being a super difficult weapon to use even at close range. His snake spits a glob of venom that's both super slow and arcs to the ground even harder than Makoa's cannonballs or Bomb King's sticky bombs. Because of how awkward his weapon is, it's almost completely ineffective at mid to long range unless he's being played by an experienced player who's used to Damba's weapon, has good aim, and takes into account that he both needs to predict where the enemy will be at longer ranges and also aim higher than where his target actually is to hit it. Because of this, Malduma earns the title of having the hardest weapon to use in Paladins. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Do you agree with my list, or do you think some other champion in the realm has a much harder weapon? Let me know down in the comments section, and also be sure to subscribe for more videos like this from me. Also, join my Discord server using the code in the description to pick up tips or leave suggestions. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.